Welcome in, my friends. 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. We are getting to the close of February already. Damn, it moves quickly, my friends. So here was what we're talking about today. Dealers, you are the first party data that everyone talks about, everyone wants to get access to. You're it, all right? Protect it with your lives, okay? Every piece of data you have, you own. That includes, I know this is a hard one for third parties to hear, all of your third party listing data. Do you believe we still have vendors out here that won't allow non-dealership employees access to dealers' data? Isn't that crazy to think about? I mean, it's 2026, right? The third parties don't own shit. They are only here at the pleasure of car dealers, much like all of us vendor partners, vendors, whatever you want to call us, are. We're all here at the pleasure of car dealers. So it's still interesting that that's still a thing, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. I'll tell you what I'm most fired up about today. This week, a great client of mine, decade-long client, just a simply great human being, calls me and she says, Sean, I'm concerned because a vendor knows more about my data than they should. And I said, well, what happened? And she said, well, I gave them, editor access. Whoa. Stop right there, friends. GA4, nobody gets editor access. And I mean nobody. You got one vendor, maybe they're responsible for your SEO. Maybe they help set up the actual product itself. Either way, that is where it starts and stops. And I'll tell you why vendors should never, ever be given editor access to your GA4 is because they think they know better how your GA4 should operate, what should be in your GA4. And you know what? Most times they add a bunch of bullshit, bad tracking elements, sometimes aren't even set up correctly. And the reality is that every vendor that comes in should be measured the exact same way as the previous vendor, right? So when vendor A comes in and they set up their conversions and we fire them, because that happens, then vendor B comes in, sets up their conversions. Now our conversions are full of bullshit that we don't need. Lock it down. The best access any vendor should ever have to any of your GA4s should be read and analyzed. And when you fire a vendor, go back and look at who has access to your GA4s. Please do this. Because, I've worked with hundreds of clients over the years. We still have access to GA4s. We don't go in them. That's not our business. But we still have it. You can't exit out on your own. You have to be removed from the property by an admin. So it's crazy how many people don't even go look at some of the simplest points of access. So GA4 is one place, right? But the next biggest is that CRM, that DMS, that data of client information, man. Lock that shit down. Give access to no one. You can procure all your own lists. Somebody wants to do a lookalike audience, some other bullshit they're pitching you. You can pull your own. You do not need to be giving people access to your machine. Not here, not now, not ever. Ever. Going back to the GA4 discussion, when this vendor popped in and added their bullshit conversion, sure, it's easy to go in, clean out, take out. Sure it is. How many people do it? Not enough. Dealers, you are the gatekeeper of the most expensive, highly sought after data in the industry. Please start acting like it. Start acting like it. Stop buying first party and start generating your own in your own systems with your own business. Another weird thing that I see a lot when it comes to data is that a lot of people would rather sign up for VIN tender emails or bullshit from providers that is garbage, okay? All these exterior email companies are garbage. They all link the same way. They all show the same clicks. They all have 6,000 visitors, 0 fucking phone calls, no web forms. It's trash, okay? If you want trash, you can walk out into Google, throw $1,000 in the air. You'll find plenty of trash. Stop with the trash outgo emails. Start utilizing your freaking databases, okay? Your databases where all this gold lives. And for so many people, you don't utilize it correctly. As a matter of fact, I've been having this debate about one of the big third parties who has a service program that dealers sign up for that basically benefits the provider. It gives the provider a bunch of free data. It does not influence the front end of that at all. If anything, if you're not doing any service marketing, this company can help, I guess. But if you are, all they do is confuse and fuck up the message. So if you're on something for life service stuff, you should probably look to get rid of it unless you're not doing service marketing. Otherwise, it's a one-way agreement. As a matter of fact, this particular vendor should be paying you all for access to your DMSs. And that's the way you need to align these discussions. You own it. All you got to do is say no unless you're willing to pay. And see what people do. They'll stop dead in their tracks and go, what'd you say? Yeah, that's right. You want access to our systems, our data, our whatever, you got to pay us. How about that shit? How about we try that on for size? See where that gets us. Because so often it's, oh, the dealer has to do this. And, well, you don't give us GA4. How will we possibly report? Turns out we don't care. Because if they're partnered with us, we do all the reporting. Your reporting sucks. Your dashboards suck. They don't need them. Sorry, not sorry. So to us, it's simply a measure of we measure things the exact same way every single time without fail for well over a decade. GA4 changed the skins of things, didn't change the nuts and bolts, didn't change what we were looking at that we would consider to be the quality of traffic, the quality of opportunity. That's what we look at. All right. I'm in the activities business. I've been saying it for over a decade. I am in the activities business. I am not in the attribution business. I am not going to sit here and tell you X plus B equals C. I'm not going to do that shit. It's a waste of your time. And it's almost an insulting of your intelligence, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. Because we know now that there are 10, 15, 20, 25 touch points that consumers will go through before they buy a car. And that was before all this AI garbage, which, by the way, look at your GA4s, okay? Just look. You're going to find 10, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 users from these LLMs on your websites, okay? That's what you're going to find for every 10,000 users. Now, is that significant today? No. Tomorrow? Probably not. 6 months from now? Don't know, because 6 months before this, they were zeros. So I get that natural progression, but that's just more to the point of you owning your data, you owning your information, and it being about you. Because if these LLMs are going to do what everyone says they're going to do, then they're going to use open source like social media and other places, your website, to gather information about you. Make sure the shit is tight. Make sure it's locked down. And make sure no one else can impact your systems but you. You alone. And again, my client immediately ripped away editor access and then days later ripped away viewer access because her thing was they don't need to know what other vendors are doing. They should report on their own who they are. Couldn't agree more. Stand on your own two legs. Stop burning down other people's houses to build your own. And when you come on as a new vendor and you want to tell a dealer how great you are in your first 2 weeks and basically slap them in the face for what they've been doing previous to meeting you, it's no way to retain business. And frankly, it's just no way to act in today's business. So the moral of today's story is what? Protect and own your fucking data at every single turn, no matter what. No vendor has the right to your data but you. And anytime you want information from a vendor, it's yours. You own it. If you pay them monthly, whatever they have, you have. That's a one-way street. It don't work the other way coming back because we give enough as dealers every single day. That needs to stop. It needs to stop. Lock down your information, make it your own, and do something with it. Go out. Close your February. Have a great rest of the week. And we'll do it all again in March, my friends. Thanks a lot. Have a great close.